Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, guys? This is Brett Bovin, and this is the show not just for hunters, but for all outdoorsmen alike. And welcome to the motherfucking electronic campfire. Now, before we officially kick things off, we have a couple of things we want to say. First, we are not politically correct on this show. We cover a variety of different topics, not just in hunting, but in the outdoors in general, even in topics in society. And we discuss how we, the people, need to fix these problems. We do a live show every Sunday and Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel. Sunday shows are more laid-back, round-table type segment, bringing on a guest, or it's just a team, or we're possibly doing a call-in line. We cover a variety of different topics on Sundays, so it's kind of our more have fun with it type show. Tuesday's show is our state-specific show. We bring a guest that lives and hunts in that state, and we ask them a variety of different topics. First, we kind of ask them their own specific style of hunting and gain more to know about the guest. And then we start to transition to what's it like to hunt in that state, asking a variety of different topics, like I said, and trying to get a good grasp of what's it like to hunt in that state. We love to conduct these live shows because it gives everyone out there a chance to interact with us here during the show. Feel free, and we encourage everyone to submit questions, comments, whatever the case may be. We just encourage everybody to just have fun with the comment section. Some of them we might even pop up here on the screen. Like I said, we're not politically correct. We're not going to be controlled in any way. We say what we want, and we don't run any ads for any companies. Anyone that tags on ads for the show, that's them doing what they want. I don't run ads through the show. Now, we did create our own little 2-minute little ad break, if you want to call it that. It's our promo code section, basically. So if you want some discounts off some of your products that with companies that we work with, we're going to be adding some hopefully here soon. And that's our good chance to kind of look at those codes if you want some discounts. Whether it's a Sunday show or a Tuesday show, we generally like to start off the show with Johnny's segment. It's Hunt, Befriend, or Kill. After the commercial break, we run Squatch's segment, which is What Not to Say with a Game Warden. We have a couple of sayings on the show. The first one is, put your quarter in the slot machine. What I simply mean by that is just to help share the show, help grow the show. I strongly believe hunting is a dying sport, it's a dying lifestyle, and we just need everyone out there to help share the show, help spread the word about hunting, and help us grow the show. Well, that's all we ask. Put your quarter in the slot machine. I do want to take a second and say thank you to all the men and women in the military for their service, and thank you for your sacrifice. We are greatly appreciative of everything that you do for this country. I also want to say thank you to all the police officers, the firefighters, the nurses, the doctors, the construction workers, corrections officers, booking clerks, everyone in public service. We want to say thank you so much for your service. We just can't say thank you enough, and thank you for your sacrifices. Thank you. Last but not least, no excuses, just hunt. Now let's kick things over and let's really kick this live show off. How's it going, everyone? It's Tuesday, March 2nd, and tonight we're covering the state of Wyoming. And before, I want to do something a little different tonight because we talk about hazing and stuff like that in the hunting community. So it's not just going to be me up here. I want to bring the team on real quick. What's up, guys?
Is this our lecture on what not to do?
Hi.
Yeah, sure.
Hi.
No. When I first started off Whitetail Advantage, I wanted to be different. I wanted to create a new norm. I wanted something to be different instead of following what everyone else is doing with their podcast and show. And I wanted people to reach out to us and feel like they're actually a part of the show. That's why I like to call this the people show. Anyone that wants to be a part of the show in any facet, they have the absolute right to be here. I'm not going to tell anybody no, they can't be on our show. And another thing you hear about in the public, in the hunting community, is we got to stop hazing each other. We got to stop picking on each other. We're prime examples of brotherhoods. is strong. And in my opinion, we were talking about this earlier. In my opinion, if you don't have that type of connection and bond, then what's hunting all about then? Hunting is all about brotherhood. It's all about family. And you should be able to have comfort in your own skin of what you can handle and not have soft skin and basically be a soft pushover, basically. If you don't have the ability with your friends to haze each other, in my opinion, that's what hazing's all about. It should be able to respect one each other, and that's what you like about your brotherhood. And that's what something about with us, with Whitetail Advantage. You say it's a family, it's actually a brotherhood. Because no matter who's ever out there watching this show, they can haze with us and give us crap. We're going to give the crap right back to you. But it's part of the brotherhood. We're just here to be supportive, though, at the end of the day. But we're going to have fun with it, though. Am I wrong?
No.
Correct.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ain't having fun, what the hell we doing?
We're not having fun. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing if we're not having a good time?
Exactly.
We're when you say brotherhood, it's like we all grew up in the same house and we're brothers at each other's throats sometimes. But at the end of the day, it all comes down. If somebody was to mess with one of us, we're gonna twist somebody's head off.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. we got each other's back.
And everyone out there that's a fan of the show, we welcome it. We welcome people hazing this show. I mean, fuck, there's one person in particular. He's a fucking kid, and he's ripping me a new one on Instagram, and I'm not getting my feelings hurt. I'm fucking loving every second of it.
We had to get Brett an extra box of Kleenex though, because the kid was starting to make him cry.
Yeah, it did. So this is the true brotherhood. If you want to be a part of it, welcome here. You can't stay in the hazing. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Basically, what Brett's trying to say is this is a big boy show. Leave your feelings at the door and have fun.
Exactly.
Yep.
Thank
No
you. Also,
DHS here. No tiny heart syndrome.
exactly. We are not politically correct on this fucking show. We're professionals and unprofessional all in the same time.
Oh,
Yes,
professional. Who's a professional?
very
here?
much.
I am a professional screw up. So
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You're a professional ugly motherfucker. That's what you are.
Yep, that's the same thing your mom
Professional
said, too.
alcoholic.
Same thing your mom said.
Look at Michael. He's saying, fuck your feelings, baby. You're awesome.
Michael better watch his mouth or I'm going to put him in detention. He's too young to be cussing like that.
Holy shit! He's
Man.
been watching the show too long.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
we don't want to be a bad
How come your
influence.
balls
on Mike.
drop?
His dad, he's gonna start dropping F-bombs in front of his dad and shit.
One
Like,
day
"Where'd you
his
hear
dad,
that?"
listen, one day his father's going to be clicking through YouTube and say, oh, these are the guys that taught him this shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all look like ex-cons.
Oh, yeah. It's Tuesday, March 4th. I'm sorry. Good catch, Michael. I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. At least somebody's paying attention.
Yeah, no kidding. I will say this last thing before we bring our guest on. I got the new merch. It's
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
pretty sweet.
Mine's
It's
in the
nice
wash.
and comfy. If you want some, get you some. All right, enough of us talking. Let's bring our guest on for tonight.
Please do.
I know I'm tired of talking to just you.
I know. I don't blame you.
How's it going, brother?
Oh, man.
There he is.
Yeah. How goes it?
It's going great. Now, before we get into background about who you are, let's run Johnny's fucking stupid segment. So I'll shut up now.
I got something for you now, Brett. All right. So, Towson, this is I don't know if you've seen it before. Hunt, fight, and befriend. So I'll give you 3 animals. You have to hunt one, fight one, then you have to befriend one. Okay. I'm gonna start with the squatch, and then I'll go Dave, then you, then I'll finish on Brett.
Oh my god!
I will
Is your
say
wife-
this though. Someone commented. I'm
Is that
assuming.
your wife?
I'm assuming
Yeah, I
it's
hope
wife,
so.
man. Man, he's
If
really
it's
hot.
not my wife, I gotta warn you, she's
Yeah.
Mexican and she's kind of crazy. So
Yeah, we all got
Not
one
her.
of those.
yeah.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah.
All right. Ready, Squatch?
Yeah, I'm always ready.
All right. You've got a honey badger, a porcupine,
Hmm.
and 250 meerkats.
All right, so I'm gonna. I don't even know what the fucking meerkat. What is a meerkat?
It's
like,
Lion
no,
King.
come here, Kay.
It's like a little weasel type thing.
It's Timon and Pumbaa. It's Timon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timon.
You lost me still.
They're in
not a-
Africa.
Okay, all right. They're in Africa.
All right.
You caught me.
250 guinea pigs.
All right, there you go. All right.
I'm clubbing the guinea pigs.
I'm clubbing the guinea pigs, like Dave said. We're gonna massacre them little bastards up, and then I got a friend one or some shit like that, right? What the hell was the
Yep.
other one? I got a short attention disorder or something. Just say it again.
No, you're
You
just
have
a
a honey
dumbass.
badger, a porcupine,
Oh yeah.
and 250 guinea pigs.
All right. So yeah, we're killing the guinea pigs. I'm friending the honey badger and
You're
the
gonna fight a
porcupine.
porcupine.
Porcupine. Yep.
I like it, man. I
Yeah,
like
man.
it. All right, Dave, you ready, man? You've got a penguin, a walrus, and a polar bear.
Fucking penguin.
Well, I'm killing the polar bear. I'm going to befriend the penguin because Brett's going to already club him to death. So,
Yeah.
and
I was just gonna say, what? Didn't Brett already kill all the penguins in the last
Yeah.
or something like that?
and then I'll hunt the what was the other one you said there?
The walrus?
Yeah.
Which we learned that we can out.
Yeah, because I want a walrus mount after seeing that.
A
Oh,
22-foot
absolutely,
walrus
dude.
mount.
Do they score them? Do they score the walrus?
I
Probably the
think-
tusks or the
the
skull,
tusk,
I would imagine.
Okay, cool.
All right, Towson, you're up, man. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
You have a zebra, an electric eel, and a border collie.
Oh my god! Don't say kill the border collie.
He's got a birdie mouth.
Yeah. Thanks, outdoors Morris Squatch. Yeah,
You're gonna go make me watch Deliverance tonight, damn
it. Make
it.
love.
Make love to the porcupine.
Man.
Yeah, that might be a little painful. Depends on how quick you can get it on its back.
That's true. Score
Hit it
my
to the
tusk.
wall.
Daniel says, score my tusk.
All right, so I got a
He is
zebra,
Italian.
eel, and a border collie.
Electric
Yeah.
eel, border collie, and a zebra.
Man, well, I'm killing the eel.
Yep.
Probably gonna befriend the border collie, and we'll fight a zebra.
There you go.
Right on. There's that dude in Ohio that had his arm bit off by a zebra.
That's
Not
freaking
too-
wild.
Yeah, man. A lot of
Wow.
weird shit happens in Ohio.
They're pretty
Yeah.
nasty though, man. Them zebras are mean.
Yeah.
Well,
They
I'm
ain't
sure
no
it's like a
joke.
horse on steroids.
Exactly. They ain't a normal horse.
Brett, you ready, man?
All right. Yep.
The Royal Rumble here. Cage match.
Don't give him a penguin.
No, he's
All
gonna
right.
have something even gayer.
You ready, dude?
And he's gonna have gerbils.
This is like a battle royale.
Oh yeah.
So
it
it's
is.
1,000 red squirrels, 1,000 box turtles, and 500 sandhill cranes.
Dave
You
needs
forgot- you
oxygen.
You
Somebody
forgot
get-
the box of helpless kittens.
Right?
Somebody
Box
got to
of
get
three-legged cats.
give Dave some oxygen. He's dying over there.
I knew it was gonna be some stupid shit for him.
I'm gonna. So I got 500 birds, basically, 1,000 turtles, and 1,000 what?
Red
Red
squirrels.
squirrels.
Red squirrels. Well, guys, I'm gonna hunt those motherfuckers, befriend the turtles, and kill the 100 birds, 500
Fight
birds.
the birds. All right,
I don't know if you've ever seen a sandhill crane, but
I don't
They're
think you have.
big.
about 6'2". They're
Yeah.
they're big some bitches.
They're
Yeah.
huge.
Fuck
Yeah,
it,
they
I'm gonna be friend with them then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or eat them. Ribeye of the sky. They're actually
Oh, I
they're
want
tasty.
to try them.
They're tasty.
Yeah, they're big birds, man, for
Yeah,
sure.
We
We
have
got-
enough of them here in Michigan, but we can't.
You got a
hunt 'em.
ton of them.
I found my mouth. Michael commented, Brett, have you fought a zebra? Yeah, when I was playing fucking football.
Yeah. Everybody in the locker room would put zebra underwear on.
Oh my gosh, no comment. Towson, all right. Let's dive in for tonight. Towson, can you give a little background about yourself, brother?
Yeah. What kind of background do you want to know? Like just personal life or hunting life or all the above?
Start from
Whatever
when you were
wanna
little.
say, brother.
Man, gosh, well, little kid, I started hunting. I got my first gun when I was 8 years old. I got a little pump action 22.
Oh yeah.
It was a little Rossi that my great
Oh, a Rossi. Yep.
yeah, he brought back from World War II actually. So
Oh damn.
yeah, so I still have it. It's a sweet gun. So but yeah, I got that when I was 8 years old, and then man, I lived in Wyoming pretty much my whole life. So I've always had the opportunity to get in the hills. We lived in a big A-frame right at the base of the mountain. I'd get home from school and pretty much just disappear till dark. So there wasn't a squirrel safe where I was at. So, but no, I've been doing it since I was a little kid and kind of just fell in love with it and fell in love with fishing and hunting. And so that's pretty much my only hobby I really have anymore. I spend a lot of time shooting things with a bow. I really don't rifle hunt at all. I'm pretty much all archery. So spend
That's
usually
my
about
thing.
45 to 50 days a year in the woods, and super fortunate I get to. So yeah.
Got a good wife then.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. She puts up with me, that's for sure.
Well, she thinks you're hot.
Yeah, well, that's a plus. I'm glad she still thinks that.
Yeah.
Hey, so did I. I said he was hot too. You
Yeah,
gotta-
you got a pretty mouth.
There's a lot of freaking a lot of
Leanne-
times I'm sure she doesn't think I'm hot. So
Well,
Yeah.
Leanne says he's a second child. Enough said. Just chaos.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
boy.
pretty chaotic.
My wife says all the time, "Geez, it's like raising a fucking house of 3 instead of just 2."
Yep.
What was it earlier? My daughter and I were having dinner
Pancakes.
together while my wife is getting my son around, and she's 4, and I said something of like, I said the word bitch, and then all of a sudden my daughter goes, "No, you shut up, bitch," and I'm like, I just start dying laughing, and my wife comes walking out, and she goes, "What did you just say?"
Yeah.
Daddy said it.
She
Yeah.
threw me under the bus so
Oh,
fucking fast.
Nope. I got a 2-year-old that's starting to listen to me entirely way too much. So I have to watch what I say around her
Yeah.
because she'll start repeating things.
Oh, they soak it up like a sponge, and
The worst is when they say it in context too, because then you can't even get mad at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
Man, how did you learn
yeah, like
that?
you just
Yeah.
can't get mad at them. It's like you swear better than I do. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or they
No.
say it at the checkout line at Myers, and you're like,
Yeah.
shit.
What you got to do is you got to teach your kid. Like I taught my daughter when she was like 3 or 4. Like her mom went to go grab her hand, and I was like, next time she does that, go like that real fast. Dude, that was priceless. Like that
Stranger.
was a proud dad moment.
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
Exactly.
what was it? My daughter, we were messing around, and she goes, "Daddy, if you don't get up, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass." And I just started dying laughing again. She just said it so perfectly, and you can understand every word. I'm like, and I just couldn't stop laughing and crying. And
Yep.
my wife was not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. We got a 14-year-old on this show like that. He's starting to freaking say everything we say too.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got-
Yeah, I know we're not really good role models right now.
It's all fun and games till his mom finds out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then everybody's in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you learn how to talk like that? The guy's on Whitetail Advantage.
Yeah.
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 Calls in on the show.
Yep.
Towson, what type of so you like to do mainly archery? Same here.
Yep.
Unlike these 3, they dabble in the rifle too, because they're a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
pussies in my opinion. Anyway,
Yeah, we're-
what type of archery setup you got?
Oh, well, so I've got a 32-inch draw length, so I always have to run with the big guy bows, but I've got a Lift XD right now is what I've been shooting this year. I shot the RX-8 Ultra all last year.
Did you?
Phenomenal bow, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always in the big guy category. I'm kind of limited to what I can shoot and can't. I worked in an archery shop for about 7-8 years, so
Nice.
I know what to do with a bow. If I get a 31.5, I can generally twist the cables, take off grips, and get it out to 31 3/4 and shoot it pretty good. So, but yeah, I Lift XD right now, and it's been great. Gosh, I've been struggle busting. I've got target panic right now, like a son of a gun. First time in my
Really?
life I've ever had it.
That is a bitch to get over.
It's miserable. Like it's dumb. I've never in my entire life have I had this issue, and luckily I don't have it on animals, but like I can't put my pin in the center. Like I've been doing drive-bys lately, and it's gotten that bad. So
Try
You shoot it. Do you try a hinge?
I hunt with a hinge. I've shot an HBC for probably the past 14 years. So I mean that's been my go-to release for hunting, shooting, everything. And I mean I'm so bad I won't even get to my click. I'll just yank through the click. You know what I mean? So
Are you at max poundage right now?
I'm shooting like that bow. You have to get 75-pound mods because of the bigger cam. I mean, its cams
Yeah.
on it, they're ridiculous. They're the size of a dinner plate, but it's probably at like 71.5 right now. I put about 4,000 arrows through it in the last month and a half, so I'm sure the strings are about shot.
That's 80-pound let off on that.
I put 80%. Yep.
Okay, so or I meant 80%. Sorry, I misspoke. What I would do, I've had bad target panic. I'm never a good target shooter. I'm always better on fur. But what's helped me in the past is reduce your poundage down. Reduce your poundage down. Whatever you can. Like I don't know if Matthews tells you more than 2 turns is too much, but drop your poundage down. Go back out. Shoot 1 arrow and then step away from the bow for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Pick the bow back up, steady on your shot, and then just do that until you're comfortable with that and shoot close range. Shoot like 10 yards, and that'll help you get rid of that target panic.
Yeah, I'll take all the advice I can get at this point. I mean, I've been lucky enough. I have a lot of friends in the industry, like a lot of big names. Kyle Douglas. I used to shoot against Kyle Douglas all the time. He's a really good friend of mine. Tim Gillingham, all those guys. So I've contacted Kyle. Kyle's talked to me a little bit. I'm actually super fortunate. I leave for Spokane on the 17th. I'm actually going to do a one-on-one with Joel Turner up there. So
nice.
We'll see. We'll see if he can help me out a little bit anyhow and try to get over this dang
He's
thing.
very good. I know some people that have used him. He's very, very good.
Yeah. So I've tried just about everything at this point, but I will try that. My daily routine is about 300, 400 reps at 8 yards. And I'm not shooting at a target. I'm just shooting, holding my pin. And sometimes I'll put up like a piece of paper the size of a dinner plate. And if my pin moves it, I just let down and then start the sequence all over again. I've tried just drawing back and holding and letting down, not shooting a shot.
Close your eyes.
You still punch it anyway, don't you? You still push.
No, I'm actually getting better. I'm getting better.
I've done that too.
I shot a Vegas round yesterday. I was shooting with a buddy, and he's actually one of our new OICs over here. And he just moved out from North Dakota. And he's like, man, I really want to shoot my bow. And I was like, well, I go to the range every night, so you can go with me. And he came and shot. And he's like, come on, let's shoot a Vegas face. And I was like, man, I haven't shot at a target in like a month and a half. I was like, and I got on it. And my first 2 rounds, 6 X's. I was pounding. I was like, this is great. Good. And then I got some bad. I still shot at 295, which wasn't terrible.
That's not bad.
Yeah, especially with the skinny arrows. I'm shooting the the Pierce Tors. So, but yeah, it's getting better. Just tons of reps though. So I've got to get over it. I've got a couple big competitions this summer. I got the Derek Wolf Invitational down there in Colorado, and that's like a $15,000 first place prize and a couple of really big ones. So we're gonna try to get over it before we go shoot those. So
I had it real bad. And I used to do a lot of national ASA shoots. 3D, and I got target panic at a team shoot one time, and I had one of the pros just tell me, go back to the bales, close your eyes, and just practice shooting at like 5 yards with your eyes closed.
Well, how many bales did you smoke? I mean, that calmed you down?
They got big bales there at the practice range. Yeah, you can't. If you miss, you probably shouldn't be shooting at all. But it gets that timer. It's that timer in your head.
Yeah. It's the only time I've ever had it. So I shot Red Ink, and I was in Levi Morgan's group, and Levi Morgan's like my archery idol, right?
He's great. He's great. Yep.
And we step up to the first target, and Levi's like, all right, you're up. And I'm like, okay. And so I step up there, and he stands like, I felt like he was touching me, like right over top of my shoulder with his binos. And I'm up there just shaking like a stripper, man. I'm just freaking trying to hold on target. I get my first shot to go off. I hit the dot on the second target. And he's like, nice shots. All right, move. And I'm like, I get out of the way. And just the tension of him being there, I got to the point where I was squeezing so hard on my release, like I wasn't relaxing my pointer finger or nothing. And it was terrible. And I shot like garbage, just absolute garbage through the first day. Second day, I'm on the practice bales in the morning, and Levi comes by and he's like, hey, I watched you all day yesterday. He's like, you were white knuckling that release, man. He's like, relax that pointer finger. And he's like, just shoot your shot, man. You'll be all right. And then I shot phenomenal, through the end of day 2 and day 3. But yeah, no, it's the
target
worst.
Panic is brutal.
It's hard to describe. And people are like, man, you're fine. Just shoot. And I'm like, normally I am, but not right now. I'm not. So
yeah.
Brett suffers from the same thing when he's on the miniature golf course, when he's got the windmill blades coming around.
The clown with the giant nose.
The windmills is kryptonite.
Yeah. He freezes. He freaking hits it like a freaking driver instead of the putter, and it goes flying out into the street and hits a car.
Hey, we all got our kryptonite, Brett. Mine's a turkey target. Don't put me on a turkey 3D target.
Those are hard enough as it is.
Gosh. Yep.
Especially when they give you the asshole shot.
Yep. At least that way you have the fan to hit.
Exactly. You do have the fan to if it's the strutting one, it's not so bad. If it's just the regular one, that's like they call it the football turkey.
Well, we're gonna see what the recurve does to that turkey this freaking spring, because I just started shooting it again tonight after 20 years.
What kind of recurve you got?
It's a Bear Super Mag 48, 60 pound.
Sweet. 60? Good hell.
Well,
yeah, I know. You were flexing on me earlier. I know. There's a reason why I tilted my computer screen up so you can't see my arms. Y'all don't want to see what a 6'4" skinny bitch looks like. So
nah, man, I'll tell you, a good friend of mine's built like you, man. I call him Silverback. His fucking knuckles drag on the ground, but
yeah,
he's a good dude, man. I grew up with him next door to me, and Air Force guy, and he had that long draw too, man. I used to say, man, you're throwing fence posts at them freaking deer, you know?
No, especially with this lift. I mean, this lift XD, I'm shooting a 440 grain arrow as my target arrow right now.
Yeah.
And it's like almost 330.
Now
like
you haven't had any problems with the limbs on those lifts?
Nope, not on this one. I did. So I got rid of my lift and went to the RX-8 Ultra last year because they had an issue with their cam settling back under center. And so I was getting weird rights. Like when I was shooting good, I was pounding, like just crushing it. And then I would just get a random right every now and then. It was pissing me off. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I ended up calling Tim Gillingham and I was like, man, have you had issues with this? And he's like, well, first off, I shoot the Atlas. You know, he's 33 or 33 and a half inch draw.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but they are having problems with the lift coming back under center, the cam. And they were having the limb issues that people didn't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but the new ones are phenomenal. Like I said, I've put probably over 5,000 shots now through that Lift XD and zero issues.
How many strings, man? Did you go through a lot of strings so far?
No, I'm still in the stock.
That's amazing. That's
very. I have some on order right now. I'm just waiting for them to get in, but they've held up pretty good. That new match string they build's pretty good. So
it is very good. I shoot an old Z3. That's what I want.
Yep.
I mean, I'm probably gonna upgrade this year to something. I'm just not sure yet.
Yeah. No, I like that. I still have people that send me their bows all the time, and I'll set up bows for people and send them back out and stuff like that. But I set up probably 30 of those lifts last year, and they were a dang good bow. So
that's good to know. That's good to know.
You can't go wrong with anybody now, really. I mean, you can pick up any bow company, and it's gonna shoot shoot better than you can. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they're all incredible.
Yeah. Did you think when you were drawing back on that lift, because when I first noticed it, as soon as you got close to that back wall, it really wanted to pull you forward right before that back wall, and then you really sunk into it. Yep. And that's what gave it that speed. I didn't like that at first because I liked it. I guess let me take that back. I liked it at first because I was like, man, that's tough getting back, but I got there, and then once you let it off, it's like, fuck, that's fucking flying.
Yep.
But then I didn't take into account real world scenarios being out in the woods.
Yeah.
So that's why I went personally with the phase 4 at the time. So I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts were about that.
I really like the cam system. So part of the biggest problem I see with archers is they get that super high let off, right? Like when Prime first came out, Elite first came out. I shot for Prime for like 4 or 5 years. Those boys are awesome. I love the Prime guys.
Super very well made bow.
Yeah, and they make a dang good bow, but like the valleys were so big on some of those bows that like I would watch people creep a half inch. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, and they wouldn't even know it. And so their shot, almost every shot they're shooting a collapsed shot, and you're shooting low left. They're getting these lows, they're getting lefts, and I like the lift in the Lift X for that reason alone, is because the valley is so short. You have to be engaged in your shot all the time.
Yep.
It'll make you really engage in your shot, really engage your back muscles, and it won't allow you to start creeping. You start creeping on a lift, you're coming down. Like the whole bow will collapse on you.
It's pulling on you,
Yep. So some people don't like that for hunting scenarios, but at the same time too, I love it because then you're not going to shoot a bad shot. You know what I mean?
You're on the back wall the whole time.
Yep, you're in it. And I even went to 80% mods just so I can get less of a value too.
I changed my Omen to 80%. On those E2 cams.
Yeah, and I like that E2 cam a lot. I had a Mach 34 I shot not last year, but the year before, and that Mach 34 was a shooter, man.
Yeah.
It was. I learned a really hard lesson about freaking follow-up shots with my Mach 34. I made.
Oh, did you?
I took a kid out, and he's never killed a bull elk before, and he's like, I really want to get an elk. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. And so he gets up there, and we're freaking sitting up on this hill, and he gets this bull. I call this bull into 10 yards. He freaks out, doesn't get drawn back. Bull runs off, and I was like, I'll bring it back. And so I bring it back around, and this kid shoots. And I thought he drilled it. You know what I mean? And the rule is when we're hunting, you shoot until that thing's done moving.
Yeah.
Elk are the toughest creature alive.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, I'm sitting there watching this bull, and he shoots, and I'm like, and it runs down the hill and stops, and it's like all four legs spread out. And I'm like, oh, this bull's dead. I was like, he's dead. And I was like, get another arrow in it, get another arrow in it. And he doesn't get an arrow in it. And I'm like, come on, man, you got to shoot. And he's just freaking out so bad he can't shoot. And I'm like, all right. So I send a follow-up shot, 84 yards, just pinwheel this bull. Boom, boom, he's dead. I'm like, sick, he's dead. Go down there, kid missed completely. And I was like, well, I guess this is my bull. It was so bad. I was like, I had a 330 bull on the opposite hillside that I've been watching hunting, and I was like, oh, it's game on. And I had him pushing his herd up the bottom of the trees. He's coming around the bottom searching. I was like,
smokes.
I'm killing this monster today.
Wow.
And you owned that.
I pinwheeled this bull. And I was like, we get down there. He's like, I didn't hit it. And I was like, nope, you didn't. And he's like, so what? And I was like, yep, it's my bull. And he's like, okay, man. But yeah.
Yep.
I don't shoot follow-up shots anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
Learned my lesson the hard way.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Yeah. So.
With that being said, what are you doing out there in particular to try and to be successful out there in Wyoming?
Man, I'm super fortunate. Like Wyoming is I shouldn't say this online, but it's the mecca of hunting, man. It's, we get an over-the-counter elk tag, deer tag every year. We can buy a bear tag. Where most states now you have to put in for an elk tag, like Utah, even Idaho, Colorado, most of them are draw systems now. Wyoming's got a general elk tag. Every single year I can go shoot a bull. So, I'm at 22 bulls now with a bow and arrow, and just because I've been able to hunt Wyoming, I've been able to hunt Idaho my whole life, jump back and forth across the border. And so, I guess what makes me successful is just the fact I've had a lot of reps. I've had a lot of time in the woods, spent a lot of time hunting critters. I've hunted with a lot of people. I started going out when I was like 8 years old with my dad and watching him hunt elk. And then he kind of quit hunting and just went hardcore fly fishing. When I turned about 12 years old, like he builds custom fly rods and everything like that. So he just turned hardcore fly fisherman. And so I kind of learned on my own. I had a guy take me up archery hunt when I was like 13, and he showed me the ropes, and then I just compounded upon that. I've been super fortunate to hunt with some incredible people that have super good knowledge. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I've grown up essentially hunting archery my whole life. So it's just one of those things where I've experienced more time in the elk woods than most people ever experience in their life. And so that's kind of what makes me successful. It's the same thing as you guys, you know what I mean? Like you guys get to start hunting whitetails when you're young. Like it's younger than us. It's 12 in Wyoming. Some states allow you to hunt, 6, 7 years old. And you guys can hunt $3 or $4 a year. Like I come in and try to talk to you guys about whitetail. You guys will know, way more about whitetail than I ever will. I just barely started. I got the whitetail bug bad about 2 or 3 years ago. So, but yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, I've just spent a ton of time in the woods. I've lived in the woods and been super fortunate too. The spot I grew up in Wyoming, I killed a 320-inch bull, like literally 10 minutes from my house. So I've been super fortunate. And then, mule deer have been my pride and joy for a long time. I've killed quite a few good muleys, and spent a ton of time hunting different states and doing that with mule deer. So, still haven't hit that 200-inch mark yet. I've got a 194 typical. So I'm getting close. I've got a really big buck I'm watching this year. He's about 4.5 and he's probably 192 right now. So he might blow up and hit 200 this year. So
there's a comment here before I get to my next question from Leanne. We don't need more people in Wyoming.
Yeah, like I said, it's it's one of those things where it's like I say online how great Wyoming is, and then I'll get 100 freaking hate comments and be like, "Shut up, man." So, yeah.
Squatch is already dragging his camper to your backyard.
Yeah, well, so here's the problem is everybody wants to do Wyoming until they experience a Wyoming winter, and then they're like, nope, screw this shit, I'm out. Like, yeah. When it snows 8 feet on you and it's -40 for 2 weeks, then yeah.
What are you doing? What are you looking for in particular? Like, what, like, define these herds of deer, and like, what are you looking in for particular? So
for mule deer, anywhere you go back home where I live, you can find good bucks. For me personally, I'm finding bow huntable terrain. My spots I hunt is terrain dictated. I knew where the king buck was, and like, I don't know if anybody ever killed him, but he was like 260 buck, right? But he was just in a spot where there's no way I was ever going to kill him. The thermals were wrong, where he hung out was wrong. It was a rifle deer, plain and simple. And so I've never, like, I didn't go after him. I go after high alpine stuff. I mean, the highest I've gotten is like 10,000 feet back home. We just don't really have higher than that, really. If you can hunt at 12,000 feet, like Colorado and stuff like that, it's phenomenal. So, but 10,000 feet's about where I at. And like I said, it's all terrain dictated. Like, I like to find stuff with small patch of trees where you can memorize it in your head. And because whenever you get on the mountain, it looks completely different, right? Like, I'm looking at it from 2,000 yards away in a spotter, and then you get on the hill and you're like, where the hell am I? Like, I've actually gridded out mountains before, and like actually taken grids and drawn grids on hills, and I'll carry like a map with me with a grid just so I know exactly where I'm at. Onyx is a super handy tool because you can mark a point and then walk to that point and realize what set of trees you're in. So yeah, there's lots of little tips and tricks I've picked up over the years. I've hunted with gray light hunter Marlon Holden, and he's like mule deer Jesus. I mean, that dude's killed more freaking deer than anybody else I know, and he's given me a ton of tips and tricks. So I've been, like I said, super fortunate with some of the people I've been able to spend time with. So
what's a trick? Because I noticed, I'm not going to say where, but in Indiana where we're going to be going, there's a lot of valleys and hills. How would you hunt that type of terrain out there in Wyoming? How could we translate what you're doing out there to here in southern Indiana?
Stay out of their bedroom. Like, and I know whitetail. I know enough about whitetail to know, like, they're stupid smart with their senses, right? Whitetails smell and everything like that's like dumb. Like, I've spent some time in Kansas. Man, I've hunted Kansas, Tennessee, Arkansas. Those are 3 of the primary states I've been in. Missouri, I've been in Missouri too, but whitetail are dumb smart with that. Mule deer are pretty smart too. You get a big mature buck and they're like, you bump them once and you'll never see them again for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we got hunters that, sorry to cut you off. We got a hunter that loves to bump them and keep bumping them, and he thinks that's the best way.
I was wondering if you're gonna bring that one up or not.
I mean, if you're hunting with a lever action 30-30, then I hear bumping's pretty good.
There is a bow hunter, but I'm not going to pick on somebody. I'm just saying, it's like when we heard that, I just was like, how does that work?
Yeah, I stay as far away from the deer as I can until it's time to kill it. You know what I mean?
Us too.
I've gone up there and I'll stay out. I'll wait till the thermal switch and I'll make sure they have the right thermals, and I'll get over there and I hope to catch them going from their first bed to their second bed or second bed to their third bed, and make a move on them then. I almost died one year because I went over and I thought, I was like, oh, this is going to be quick, right? Like, this will be easy. Get over there. He's in a super killable spot. I got on the hill at 9. I had a pack of Skittles, 1 water bottle, a lighter, in my life straw. That was it. No headlamp, nothing. Pack's completely empty. Like, I'm like, this is in the bag. It's a done deal, right?
Yeah.
That deer never stood up or never moved until 7 o'clock. Oh. And I put an arrow in him at 60 at 7. Haven't eaten, haven't drinking all day. Been sitting on the sun, just getting baked, right? Killed this deer. He's off this cliff face. So I have to go all the way back to the top mountain, get my boots, get my pack, get everything. I load up, get down there. I take like 1 picture with him, get to cutting, and like, it gets dark instantly. And I've carried a lot of deer out whole on my back. You know what I mean? I'll quarter them, throw them in my pack, cape, everything, and I'm good to go. I got around the mountain and I realized, I'm like, I can't carry anything anymore. Like, I'm done. Yeah. Like, I dropped my pack and I got so delusional that like I couldn't find my bow on the ground. And then my phone died. So then I didn't have a light, right? Like, I'm 6 miles from camp, pitch black, no light. I have a lighter. And when I had gotten to my deer, it actually been eaten on, like the ass end was eaten out already. And so like, I'm kind of a little bit nervous. I start walking, I hear things behind me. I'm like, quit being a bitch. You're just hearing things, walking up this hill. And then I really hear stuff. And so I stop and I flick this lighter on, and there's 2 juvenile cats sitting right behind me, just following me up the hill.
Oh, man.
And so like my first reaction is like, okay, I'm just going to run and scream at them. So I just run right at them, scream at them. They kind of freak out, sit back on their haunches, and then like turn and burn. And I'm just like hauling balls up this mountain. But yeah, I didn't get back to camp till 3 o'clock in the morning. Severe dehydration, like couldn't sleep, couldn't eat because I hurt so bad. Like, yeah, it was ugly. But yeah, no, if I was hunting hilly terrain, stay out of their bedroom, glass them from far, and don't go in until the thermal's right or the wind's right, especially with whitetail. Like, you know what I mean? They're such smart critters, man. Whitetail bucks are a whole nother ball game compared to the big muleys out here.
Anything over 2.5 is super smart, man.
Yep.
When you say the thermals are right, what exactly do you mean by that?
So, especially out west, the thermals will dictate the way the breeze is going to blow or the wind's going to blow. It'll drag the air down or up the mountain. So if you're not there during the right time of day, and those thermals are pulling down the hill and you're sitting on top of a mule deer, he's going to catch you instantly. He's gone. Like they have a really good sense of smell, like whitetail do, and their ears are incredible. I mean, they got giant ears, so their hearing's incredible. Their eyesight's incredible. Like to me, it's like the epitome of bow hunting. Like they are one of the toughest critters to kill with a bow. A high country muley is tough, and it's super, super physically demanding. Like I've taken people up there from the military with me, and they're like, screw this, man. Like, I'm not in shape for this. I can't handle this. Like, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like they struggle with it sometimes. So
up here in the Northeast, we got a lot of hills and mountains and stuff. And where I hunt in the mountains, the thermals dictate where the buck's bed. And it's usually northeasterly facing slope. And they'll be about midway up it. And it's because they've got an exit out quick out of a thicket or something. But those thermals in the late morning start running back up that mountain. And if you're coming in, they'll kick, man. They'll run right off.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing to do is get into like a connecting saddle where the 2 ridges will come together, or, you know, some kind of ambush point like that, and just sit in there. You can't move. You got to get in there and get in there early.
Yeah.
And this way, you know, when they do start to get up and move, they're going to go back up over the mountain. You're hopefully cutting them off. I mean, that's just the way it is up here in the Northeast. I've noticed. You know,
they like laying on the leeward side.
Mm-hmm.
They got their wind to their back, so they can smell anything coming up behind, and then they can see everything in front of them.
And a lot of time, you guys know, I mean, I'm sure it happens with your elk and your mule deer and stuff. I've never had the opportunity to get out and hunt any of them, but a lot of times you'll have 2 and they face, you know, heads away from each other.
Yeah.
So now they got that 360 area covered with their noses, and it's just unbeatable. You got to be real careful.
Yep. It's funny you say that. I had one mule deer I killed one year, and it was across this big open flat.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had to put the bow on my chest. It was the 194 buck I killed. I put my bow on my chest and I crab crawled across this opening with the bow on my chest, sliding on my back, right, worming my way into this tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I get in this set of trees, and there's 12 muleys in this set of trees, and they're all in a semicircle, facing every possible entrance point, you know, and I'd snuck in there 40. Same thing though. Like I knew I only had a few minutes to kill one of those deer because I knew the wind was going to switch and one of them was going to catch me. And so I just said, whichever buck stands up first. I had a forked horn that was a 30-inch wide, probably 22-inch tall forky, right? Like the oldest deer on the mountain. I was like, I'll shoot him in a heartbeat. And then I had one we called a Mega 3. I ended up killing him the following year, but just stupid wide, looked like a whitetail essentially. And then that big buck, and he stood up first, and I was like, he's dying. He's the one. So, but yeah, no, they're dumb smart the way they're bed, and elk are the same way too. Like a big bull elk will bed, you know, out of sight, and then he'll leave his cows out there just to essentially be, you know, sentries for him, and they'll face every single direction and watching. And yeah, again, I got caught. I shot my bull this year. One of my bulls, I shot 2. My Wyoming bulls in the wilderness, I shot him at 11,300 feet. It was dumb. I had a band of bighorn sheep below me where I'm hunting these bulls at. And I like low crawled, and I scaled a cliff, right? I scaled like a couple 1,000-foot drop cliff, and I'm like, this is dumb. But I scaled around, got to the one pine tree. I'm stripped down. I'm like full mule deer mode, right? Like when I go in on mule deer, like I'll take off my pants sometime because pants, you know, sliding together is too much noise. So like I'm literally in my underwear and socks at this point, and then these elk, the cows feed up out of defilade, and I can't move, right? And so I got pinned there from 9 o'clock. It was 60 degrees, and then it turned to like 30 and rain, then snow, and I'm getting dumped on like 5. I was like, at 5:30, if these elk don't move, I'm gonna just cow call or something. I was like, I can't do it. And I ended up, they ended up moving. I snuck down there and ended up putting a shot on that bull and killing them. But yeah, no, they're just dumb smart. Animals are stupid smart. They're so hard to shoot low. There's a reason why people rifle hunt. I always say it's way too easy. I call it the cheating stick, man.
Yeah.
You can sit back from 500-600 yards away and just freaking, it takes the fun out of it for me anyhow.
You know what it is? I mean, when we grew up the way I grew up here in the Northeast, I mean, it was always predominantly your family came, it was rifle season. I had a lot of people come up from the city. We're pretty far up from the city, but everybody hunted with the rifle. And then my grandfather had dibbed and dabbed with the bow. My father took up the bow and was pretty proficient with it. And when I was old enough to shoot, I started shooting recurve and longbow. And I just wanted to outdo all of them with my hunting skills. And the big guy over my shoulder, I was fortunate to take him. And, it's just one of those things. But I love all the seasons, man. Like, when bow season's winding down, I'm looking to grab that rifle. I mean, but I'm more picky with the rifle too, and it's like, it's not like, okay, here comes a deer, boom. Instead, some people do. I don't, but muzzleloader is one of my favorite times of the year to hunt, man. You couldn't let me, I wouldn't give that up for nothing. I just love that stuff, man. And that's why I'm glad we have seasons. I mean, to each their own, do what you like to do. And, I know you're not saying it's, one thing or the other, but
it's for me. You know what I mean? Like, who was it? Dave, you went to sniper school?
Johnny.
Oh, John did. Yeah. Yep. Like the first target you shoot at is like 800 meters on a head silhouette. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, cool. Let me ring this 800 meter target real quick. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things for me personally. Like shooting a rifle, it didn't really, like, it was never really hard. And it was one of those things where it came easy. And then I killed a bunch of critters with a bow growing up. And once you shoot an elk, like, I know everybody says turkey hunting is like elk hunting. I still have never shot a turkey, so I don't know. I'm going to go kill one this spring because I'm always hunting spring bear. But like when you have 1,000-pound animal screaming in your face, like 10 feet away from you, wanting to kill you, like, that's a whole nother level of adrenaline, man. It is so much fun.
I get to do my first archery elk hunt this year, and I'm stoked. I can't wait.
Where are you heading?
Oregon, actually.
Nice. Gonna go shoot some rosies?
Yes, sir. At altitude of, no more than 2,000. So while you're way up here, I'll be like air level, breathing.
Hey, they're cool critters. You're gonna be hunting in like Jurassic Park is what it looks like with those giant ferns and everything. Like it's wild.
Not last weekend, the weekend before, I went out and did some scouting. Dude, it is crazy out there. Like unbelievable. And there's the day I left, there's like a herd of 30 elk, just like all in the little field, just minding their own business, man. Like so cool out there.
Yeah. No, you shoot a big elk like that with a bow and it'll change you forever. Like your desire to shoot them with a boomstick just goes away pretty much entirely. So
when I was retiring out, like I got shot up in Afghanistan, and the first day I could pull back my bow, I was like, yep, this is it. Got rid of the guns, put them up. I was like, never again. And I take a shotgun out every once in a while. I think I went 2 or 3 times this year, but bow hunting ever since.
I'm the idiot that's during rifle season wearing an orange vest running out there with a bow. So that's how dumb I am. I'm like, it's rifle season, cool, extended archery. Here we go.
So during my rifle season is when I go hunt the like golf courses that I get permission to hunt where no one else can hunt. I'm like, all right, now I don't have to worry about hunters. I just bounce around to different properties.
Good way to get rid of golfers.
No, screw golfers. Who would ever want to golf when you can shoot a bow?
Dude, exactly.
I always tell people golf is like archery, except archery's for men. You know what I mean? Like,
Damn, Brett. He's all over you. He's got your number.
Yeah.
No. I mostly don't golf because I'm like one of the most competitive people in the world. So if I start down a rabbit hole, man, I've got to go all in. I can't be halfway in. Like
I'm not.
Well, I mean,
I'm all the way or nothing, man. So.
The to win at golf is to play as little golf as possible. So if I don't play, I'm winning.
Yeah.
Like
you got more money for hunting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you've got kids at home, you got to save all the money you can for hunting.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna move on.
I mean, have you ever tried eating a golf ball? They don't taste good.
No.
Yeah.
No, but I hear you tried tasting balls though. I think you think those taste good. So
your dad told me they were no good.
In his defense, balls actually do taste really good. I don't know if you boys have ever had Rocky Mountain oysters, but they're
no, but Brett's had some freaking strippers balls in his mouth, I think.
Yeah, he had real ones.
I don't know what kind of strippers you guys got back east, but those don't sound like the good kind. So
that's the only ones Brett goes to.
Yeah.
Brett's
let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this question first, and then we're gonna run into our commercial break. When we talk about I just had the word thermals. Can we break that down exactly? What are thermals? Like for the one that's listening, they don't know exactly what that is. Can we break that down real quick?
So it's essentially your cool air and your warm air. Once it gets to a certain point in time of day, like they'll start pulling up or they'll start pulling down. You know what I mean? Kind of like what the Squatch said. He'll sit on a ridge and the thermals will dictate where they bed. It's the same thing with deer and elk. Like when you have, they'll always bed, or try to bed downwind of the thermals. So in that way, anytime anything steps above them, they can smell them instantly. I mean, people like to say they're going to hunt an animal while it's in its bed. What they don't understand is when an animal is in its bed, that's when its senses are generally the highest sometimes because they're on high alert. They're sitting there. They maybe look like they're sleeping to you, but every single sense is running. They're not preoccupied with eating or chasing does, or anything like that. They are sitting there with their ears wide open, smelling, tasting the air. And so that's those thermals that are essentially your warm and your cold air in directions that it's pulling.
Yeah, and water and rivers and creeks can actually draw the thermals down.
Yeah, I mean, you get along a creek bed in a cold day, it's going to be 20 degrees colder than when you're up on top of a hill. You know what I mean?
And your wind will be going one way, and you're hunting that creek, and you start
Yeah.
checking your thermals, and it's actually pulling down.
And so, yeah, you're generally in most areas, your thermals are pretty consistent. They're going to do the same thing day in and day out, right? And so you can judge based off of the thermals what you're going to do that day. What screws you is generally the wind. The wind, you can't dictate what the wind's going to do on a daily basis or hourly basis for that matter. Like it always is changing. So thermals is something you can generally trust. Because even when there's no wind kicking around, you still got thermals pulling.
You still got thermals.
Yep.
That's why a lot of the times in the afternoon hunt, Brett, and you're in your stand.
No, he's sleeping.
No, I said afternoon.
Oh, sorry.
But when you're in your stand in the afternoon and you have a critter come in, a lot of the times they don't make you. They don't make you because the thermals, the heat is rising away from you. In the morning, if you got a critter that comes underneath you, they'll smell you.
That's why he sleeps until noon. That's actually a good point.
But
that's why he does that.
Yeah, that's why he's doing that. See, he's smarter than we make him out to be.
Yeah.
Matt and the stripper didn't leave yet, so that's why.
Yeah. Tony,
blue oyster.
Yeah.
Tony,
it's still balls deep on him apparently. In the
Man.
Wow. I love it. I freaking love it. Oh man.
You were the one that had to bring up golf balls. Sorry.
Nah, that's all right.
I fucking love this.
Yeah, he's got his own ball washer.
Hey, I don't know if I told you, Towson, that Brett was about 25 when you realized real golf courses didn't have windmills on them.
Yeah.
He realized it was all grass and not ramps.
Yeah.
You know, clown
hot
faces.
dog stands at the golf course and couldn't
Clown faces going, come on.
I got nothing. Again, we're just gonna move on. All right, we're gonna do our commercial break and then we'll run the Squatches segment, even though I don't fucking want to now.
Too bad.
Hey, go ahead and season your meat with something great. Try Flavors of the Forest raw garlic dust, made with only the finest ingredients for the finest wild game. Go ahead and use promo code Whitetail to save 15% on your next purchase. Go check them out.
Hey, guys, how are you? It's the Squatch from the Whitetail Advantage. Hey, listen, have you guys tried rec broadheads yet? Well, if you haven't, you're really missing out. I've been shooting rec now for over a year, and I'll tell you what, they fly straight, they fly true, and they're deadly, deadly on a deer. You can get the HXPs, you can get the FX4s, or you can just get the regular HPs. Guys, take it from the Squatch. The guys here at Whitetail Advantage, you can't go wrong with the rec broadheads. If you tune in, you watch our show, you can use the discount code for rec, WA15. And that'll give you 15% off your purchase. And you guys tell them that the Whitetail Advantage and the Squatch sent you. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. The show's going to be great. Squatch out.
Hey, you guys have a passion for the outdoors? You faith-based and love bow hunting? Go check out Bow Addicts. It's BOWADX. Genesis 27:3 says, take your bow and a quiver full of arrows. Go out into the open country to hunt some wild game for me. While we all love to go out and hunt wild game, we'd love to also wear it and represent what we believe. So go check out Bow Addicts and use promo code WHTADV10 to save 10% off your next purchase. That's WHTADV10 at checkout. Tell them the Whitetail Advantage crew sent you.
All right, now we got the Run Squatches segment. What not to say to a game warden.
All right, so Towson, what we usually do is I pretend I'm the game warden. I'm going to ask you something. You give me an off the freaking wall answer, something you would never say to a game warden, something that's going to land your ass in jail real quick. So we'll start it out with, well, I noticed you were out over there over your animal that you just killed, and all you did was cut the balls off. What's that all about?
Saving them for Brett.
I was gonna say, well, Brett told me to, so.
He likes to gargle with them.
Yeah.
So next, the game wardens say, well, who's this Brett character and why'd you take him hunting with you? Haven't you looked at him?
I'll be like, I've only met him once. He just told me to come out on this chunk of private here and I'd be good. So
yeah, I hear that from a lot of our contestants on the show that say
contestants.
Yeah. Well, here's another one. Okay, let's see. Well, Mr. Jenkins, I've noticed you were aiming that bow out of a pickup truck because you don't choose to use a rifle. I mean, you think you're going to get any closer at 60 miles an hour to him?
I like to keep it challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting them standing up's too easy.
And that's why you let Mr. Bovin drive, huh?
Yeah.
He's back again.
He told me to get in the back, but it was too cold back there, so I decided to shoot from the passenger seat.
I hear you. All right. Well,
fucking Michael, man.
Yeah, what's Michael saying? What's Michael saying?
He's been quiet too long.
He's man.
He's my gay friend.
He's my gay friend.
This kid's 14.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We're gonna adopt him.
Yeah.
Things
We're
not
gonna
to
bring
say,
him to Indiana.
Things not to say to a game warden. My gay friend is 14 years old.
Yeah. He's in the camper, I swear.
Like, I've got my gay buddy locked in the camper out back. He's 14. You should really come see him.
Yep, I could see him going to school tomorrow. Hi, I'm gay, and you are?
Oh man.
I had this gay friend on this podcast.
Yeah. No, that's all I got for that little segment. I think we laughed it up pretty good for that part.
Brett better watch himself. This Michael kid's mom's going to be on the show next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. He wants to come on the show, but I told him I got to talk to his parents first to get permission from them. I'm not going to look for that phone call now.
Oh man.
I don't want you going on any podcasts with gay guys.
Yeah.
Especially ginger gays.
Goodness.
You know what's funny? When the kid comes on the show, he's gonna have more of a beard than Brett does.
Yeah. He's probably got more hair on his balls too.
Brett, when you started the show, you were talking about everybody hazing everybody. You didn't tell us it was going to be just us on you.
Yeah.
That's how Brett likes it, though. 4 dudes on him.
He likes everybody on top of him.
4 dudes, 1 Brett.
Yep.
He's Michael's. Don't worry,
Don't worry, my mom won't know.
He's not making this.
We gotta end this now. We gotta end it now. This is horrible. I want no part of this, Brett. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Wait.
Game was the last
My
of our
name's
worries at
Carl
this
Thomas. I live in
point.
Idaho.
Look at Flavors of the Forest's comment. Ginger's gay.
That's the ultimate jackpot right there.
Well, I mean, you got gay and then you got ginger gay, and it's
Mom won't
Only
know
Dad
what goes
knows.
on. Only Dad.
Michael, you got to come back when you're 18, bud.
Yeah.
Flavors of the Forest. You guys are getting on a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all on it now.
Yeah.
Guilty by association.
Yep.
I don't know you guys. I don't know you. Control-Alt-Delete.
I'm going to have the FBI show up at work tomorrow. Let me ask you about Brett.
Yeah. I keep hearing about this gay guy with kids.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, man.
Yeah, you'd be like, what did he do? Well, he's wanted for crimes against himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, sorry, I'm just here to make you laugh. Well, you're doing a fucking great job of Michael.
Yeah.
On some serious note here, Daniel commented, I'm scoring some sheds. I've found got a 74 4/8 one side.
Oh,
Nice.
that's good, dear. Where in the hell were you at? Missouri? Back in Missouri?
Shit.
Yeah. Where you at? Where are you scouting sheds at?
Yeah, drop us a pin, will you?
He's over by Legends, right?
Yeah. He knows where He's been to the cottage.
Yeah, drop us a pin. We'll
He
be
knows
happy
right
to
where
check
that's
that
at.
spot
He
out.
actually knows the guys at Legends too.
Yeah.
Justin commented, damn, that's a nice shed. I'm not good at finding them. Trust me, I've only found one.
Well, you got to go out of the house to find them.
I
The
go
one I
outside.
found was the
bitch.
one I left over there.
Shit. The only time Brett found his shed was when he went to Home Depot.
Cabela's in a box.
His wife put him in it, closed the door, and walked away.
Yeah.
See you later, loser.
Going shopping.
Where do you guys find sheds at back east? Is it just like out in the open, like in a freaking
There.
cornfield?
Dude, they're
or-
everywhere.
I find them more here in their like bedding areas.
Yeah, bedding locations.
Huh.
In the
Are
thick
those new
shit.
ones, Squatch?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think you're really good by those cattails and like those swampy, deep, thick,
found
grassy
these up-
type areas.
Out in the apple orchard. They were about 150 yards apart of a
That's
drainage.
rad.
Nice.
I find a lot of elk sheds, but never any whitetails.
Well, elk sheds are the size of my freaking pickup truck. These things are hard to find. They're little.
Corn
Yeah.
pile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or pile and bungee cords. Yep.
Yeah.
So, Towson, what's the terrain like? Let's start diving into a little bit of Wyoming. What's the terrain like? What can people expect?
Man, so it depends on what side of the state you're on. So if you're on the west side of the state, it's out there by Jackson Hole. You got the Gravant Wilderness, which is the biggest wilderness in the lower 48. So essentially the closest road, you can be 36 miles in from the nearest road. So it's the biggest section of untamed ground in the lower 48. I mean, you have to go to Alaska and Canada to get any bigger. So really cool country up there. Gets up to about 12,000 feet elevation. And then you've got, and that's where I'm from originally. I'm from that side of the state. I just moved out here. You guys will laugh at me, but I just became a 42 Alpha battalion staff. So now I'm just a paper pusher working at battalion, but I'm out here on the other side of the state now. And it's a lot flatter. We actually do have some tall mountains. I'm right on the border of Colorado. So we got some 12,000 foot hills over here too. But most of Wyoming is high desert or high prairie. So elk and deer thrive here though. The elk love that high prairie stuff. It's super fun to hunt them in it. The Idaho tag I have, you're hunting at like 6,000, 7,000 feet elevation. So super fun to chase them in that type of stuff. You just got to be able to shoot a little bit further there.
When's the hunting seasons?
We run, so archery September 1st to September, the end of September. And then rifle elk generally opens up on October 15th and a run to the end of the month for rifle elk. So, and that's the cool part about drawing a general tag in the state of Wyoming is you have all September, And then you have the rifle season to hunt as well as a non-resident and resident. So,
what are the tags running for a non?
Oh, they're expensive. Like you're about $1,000. So,
Man, really? Holy smoke.
Yeah.
$1,000 for a non-resident?
For a non-resident tag, correct. If you're a resident, it's like $70.
Can we
Now,
send
is
it
that,
to your house?
what exactly is all included with that tag? Is there anything like special with it, or
that's
you
it,
just
man?
get that one tag?
You just get that one tag and go to work.
Fuck that.
Elk's expensive, man. My Idaho tag that I've hunted the past couple years, it's $1,000 by the time you get done paying for the hunting license, the tag, and everything like that. So,
non-resident in Oregon, over-the-counter general archery, $760.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
and that's about average. The problem is you got to buy an archery permit. You got to buy a stamp. Then you've got to buy the
a lot of them sportsman's license.
And then on the tag on top. So sometimes it'll be $600-700, but you got to pay an extra $500 for all the other necessities to be able to hunt.
Yeah, my archery out there was, after everything was said and done, it was $760 out the door.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been applying for Colorado and Arizona as well, and that's, you get that's $1,000 easy.
Yeah. Colorado's gotten expensive. Wyoming's gotten really expensive. Arizona's crazy too down there. So
I want to say this real quick before we get to Daniel's comment. Squatch says, Mike, you have to write 100 times. I won't say what the guys say on the show. He comments, I won't say what the guys say on the show. I won't say what the guys say on
the show. Like Bart Simpson writing it on the chalkboard.
Yeah, I told him. I says, you got to write it 100 times like we used to when we was in school.
It's a little late. All they got to do is go on YouTube and watch all the old shows and be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Where is it at? Here, Daniel. He said, Towson, I've traveled the road between Devil's Tower and Stoneville Mountain, seen over 3,000 whitetail deer in a 40-mile stretch.
Yep. So up there by Sheridan and the Black Hills, it's kind of where he's talking. That's the upper east corner of the state has got a ton of whitetails. So like every Levi Morgan video that you see of him coming out and killing whitetails, that's where he's at. Mm-hmm. And there is some giants out there. There's some good deer. I've yet to draw a tag for over there. Like I have the worst luck in the world drawing tags. I've never drawn a type 1 tag. I've never drawn a limited entry tag. Everything I've ever hunted has been general season over the counter. So one of these days I'll get lucky and draw a primo tag or draw that, there's a late season archery tag or late season whitetail tag that happens up there. So I actually just locked in 3,500 acres of private ground to hunt in Cody, which has some big whitetails too. So I'm really hoping I can draw that late season tag and go up there and put a herd on them.
Now,
cool.
I don't know if we covered this, but is it over the counter tags or is it a lottery system?
So it's a lottery system for the late season whitetail. The way the general season works for Wyoming for a resident, you can hunt any antlered deer. So you can shoot a mule deer or you can shoot a whitetail on your general season tag. I've always been obsessed with shooting big muleys, so I generally use my general season tag for mule deer unless I draw a type 3 tag or buy a leftover type 3 tag and go hunt whitetail somewhere. But I'm super fortunate. I have a really good friend that owns a ton of property in the state of Tennessee and Arkansas, and so I've been able to go back there the past couple of years and hunt. It just sucks because I have to let 160-inch 4-year-olds walk below my stand and I can't shoot them. And I understand it. And I really like the first year I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, you got to let me shoot this deer. He's like, he's 4.5. And I was like, there's no way in hell a 4.5-year-old deer is 160 inches. And then I went and hunted Kansas. I actually built a bow for Jeff Barron and I flew out to Kansas, took him his bow, and went out there and hunted with him. And he ended up shooting that 204-inch buck while I was out there. And I'm like, okay, I understand now. Like there's monsters, out here. So like I get the 160-inch 4-year-old and I really do appreciate the whitetail conservation and like the essentially cultivating the ground and stuff like that. Like I grew up working on a farm and I love that aspect of whitetail hunting. I think it's cool as crap being able to set up food plots and everything like that. But yeah, I like last year, I let it was probably 155, 160-inch buck walk 10 feet below me. And my buddy was like, I sent him a picture. I was like, can I shoot it? And he's like, nah, he's 4.5. You don't want that. And I was like, it's 160-inch deer. I want it. Trust me. He's like, no, you don't want that one. And I was like, okay. So, but yeah, so that's my goal this year. My goal is to shoot 150-inch buck. Like that's the goal. We'll see if we can get her done. I'll be hunting Tennessee, Arkansas, and Oklahoma this year. So I'm hoping between one of those states I'll be able to get on one.
They do say the next world record could come out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
there's some big deer over there, man. I mean, when I was there, I was only there for a couple days, and I killed 2 deer in Tennessee. I killed a decent 8-point, and I shot a big 6, like a 4.5-year-old 6-point. So, and he was super happy with me for that because I killed that 6-point. I mean, that's a perfect management deer.
You're trying to cull the deer.
I'm hoping I got some browning points for this next year. So when a big 10 or 12 walks out, you'll let me smoke it. But yeah, there's some good deer over there for sure. There's some big ones.
Daniel commented, my buddy was a guide for Triple J Outfitters in Wyoming.
Yep. Nope. Those are good dudes. They kill a lot of big stuff.
I feel like that's the place that, what's his name goes to? Kip Campbell.
I don't know. Maybe.
I can't remember. Maybe it's someplace in Montana. Maybe I'm drawing blank. Michael commented here with a question. What do you recommend, Towson? Me and my dad really want to go on an elk hunt. Do you have any tips for that? What state to go to, etc.?
Man, I would start. It's expensive and it's an investment, unfortunately, but I would start buying points in Wyoming. So you can draw a general elk tag with 4 points in Wyoming. And that general elk tag, you have an opportunity to shoot anywhere from a 300-inch bull to a 380-inch bull, depending on where you're at. And so you've got to get your points built up, which costs a lot. If you don't want to build points, then I suggest looking at Colorado. Colorado's got a little bit easier to draw areas. The only problem with Colorado is you're going to deal with a ton of people. You're going to be in the pumpkin patch during rifle season. You're going to see hunters on every single ridge. So that's tough. But if you can, that, or if Idaho doesn't switch if they don't switch their draw system this year, because right now they have over-the-counter tags, but they're limited quota, first come, first serve.
Yeah, I think this year was the last year they're doing.
Yeah, they're talking about this year being the last year doing that, and then they're going to draw systems for everything. But if they don't do that, then you can get some, like the Pioneer Zone A. It's a phenomenal elk tag. You'll be an elk all day, every day, and it's super fun. But that's a little bit easier tag to get.
When do you recommend? What's the optimal time for people to come out there to hunt in Wyoming?
I always say the 6th through the 15th of September. So when your big bulls get on a herd, they are super hard to pull off. They get on some cows and you can cow call and you can scream and get in a pissing match with them. And 90% of the times they'll never leave the herd. They'll stay with it. And then you're playing spot and stock, shadowing a herd, trying to get a shot opportunity. So those first couple days of September, not the very first part, but that in between the 15th and the 5th, you'll get big elk, big herd bulls that won't be on cows yet. And they're super responding to calls. So you can call in a 350, 360 class bull because he hasn't cowed up yet. But when they get cows, sometimes you cow call and they'll just turn and gather the cows up and run the other direction because they don't want to fight. They're like, I got all I need right here. I'm not going to mess with you. So that's when I like to chase big bulls. Otherwise, I'm chasing them, just shadowing the herd. I'm not cow calling. I'm not calling at all. I'm just shadowing them, waiting for a shot opportunity.
Michael asked,
now, what's your longest, what's your average shot distance out there? Because, I mean, whitetails up here are, within 30 yards easy.
Yeah. I always tell people to be able to shoot 60. So any of my buddies that have ever come and hunted out west and I've been hunting with, or, I've gone out with, I always tell them be able to shoot 60 yards. And that's just because sometimes the Idaho tag I have, for example, it is dark timber patches, little patches. And then it's wide open sagebrush. And those elk, if they can't see the cow call or if they can't see, something that they're responding to, they'll just stop. They'll get to an opening and they'll stop. And that's why people set up a calling sequence where they're sitting, 150 yards behind them calling, because that elk's focus and attention is back behind the hunter, not necessarily where the hunter's at. I've shot a lot in my life. Like I said, I've already put about 5,000 arrows in just this year alone. And we just started March. But I've shot some long bombs on elk. Luckily, fortunately, my longest shot until this last year was 34 yards. I like to be as close as I can to elk just because elk are huge critters. I've shot them anywhere from 6 feet to 34 yards. This year I shot my bull at 102. It was as close as I could get. Pinwheeled him, heart shot. I actually have a video of my phone, and he just keels over and dies right there on the spot. It's pretty cool. But
Man,
yeah, I've shot a couple deer at distances. I'm like, it is what it is. It's as close as you can get sometimes on those cliff scenarios and things like that. But I always tell people be able to shoot 60. Because generally most people, your average archer can shoot a good group at 60 and keep all 5 arrows in a paper plate. If you can do that at 60, then you'll be okay on an animal.
Michael asked, he's got 2 questions. The first one is, what about Montana and Missouri, or would you go with either Wyoming or Colorado?
Missouri doesn't really have elk. If they do, it's going to be a huge specialty thing. Montana has some over-the-counter stuff. Well, I think it's draw. But I haven't spent a ton of time in Montana. Mm-hmm. I mean, I usually have an elk tag for Idaho and Wyoming every year. Sometimes I've hunted Utah as well. So having 2 or 3 elk tags in a year, I really don't have a ton of time to sneak up to Montana. But I do have buddies that hunt Montana pretty religiously, and they've killed some good bulls out of there. But again, it's tough to draw. So unfortunately, elk hunting is just expensive. It's turning into a rich man game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Towson, what green weight arrow are you using, and what broadheads are you shooting?
So I shoot anywhere from 550 to 600.
Cool.
I like to shoot 290 feet per second. 290 to 298 is at my max.
Cool.
You can get any broadhead to tune at that speed, and so I'll generally. I'm the opposite of people. I'll slow my arrow up until I get to about 298 feet per second. Like with this Lift XD, I'm gonna have to shoot 600 grains.
Yeah.
But a 600 grain arrow traveling 298 feet per second is like 115, 116 foot-pounds of kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy, yeah.
I mean, it's crushing stuff. So.
And you're fixed or mechanical?
Mechanical. Just because we have a ton of wind here, and you want streamline. I shoot a mechanical head. I shoot the Pierce Tors, which is your micro diameter arrow, and then I'll shoot a low profile vane too as well, just to try to buck the wind.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. I have shot fixed blades before, and I highly recommend fixed blades to people that are shooting low poundage or short draw lengths. It's hard to beat a single bevel, super sharp head. You know what I mean? Like that right there. I put like every chick that comes out and hunts, or like my little sister, I had her shooting single bevel. It was actually the Magnus, the buzz cuts that,
it's good.
I had her shooting those for a long time. Like that was a dang good head and just super sharp. And she rocks that, killed a couple bulls with those. So
very cool. Good.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm listening to other people talk about long distance shooting, the fixed blade broadheads are great for more of those intermediate type 50 and kind of in. If you want to shoot out further, then those mechanical ones are going to really help steer and correct your arrows, correct?
Well, so mechanical broadheads, you want to get as close to a field point as physically possible, right? Like it's aerodynamics, really. Anytime you have like fins for a fixed blade broadhead, that's creating wind drift, and that's creating, it's not flying perfectly straight. And that's why people will shoot bigger vanes, or they'll go to a 4 fletch on the back end, or even shoot bigger diameter arrows. Like a 246 will tune easier and is a more forgiving arrow than a micro diameter shaft, just because that string's, it's hitting straight behind the arrow and it's got more forgiveness. It's the same thing with Vegas heads. You know what I mean? Like Vegas arrows, people will shoot a 30X. 1 is to cut lines, but 2, that's the most forgiving arrow you can get, a 27.
Yep.
So, and mechanical broadheads, they fly better. They've been proven to fly better, and some of them have phenomenal penetration. You know what I mean? They're just great. And
Towson, I not to cut you off, but the rec, this is the rec. It's HXP, and that's one of the mechanicals we use. Really good.
That's
really
a dirty head.
That thing, when it hits, man, you'll get slap cuts up to 3 inches long with that.
Yeah. Yep. I've never played with that one. That one's a nice one, though. That's a good one. I've played with a lot of broadheads. I used to be sponsored by a broadhead company, so I only shot theirs. And then when I didn't, like, it was kind of fun. Like I did a huge test and just shot a whole pile of different heads. Yeah. But no, mechanicals for me, I've never had one fail. I've shot, I don't know, probably over 80 big game animals now with a bow, and never had a failure with the mechanical head. So I think the people that got the original failures were the people that when they first came out and, the springs weren't necessarily working or the locks weren't working. So I could see where people had issues in the early days, but nowadays technology has just advanced so much that it's hard to get away from a mechanical head.
Yeah.
I got one last question here for you, Towson, before we start doing the rapid fire segment. What would you tell someone that they need to start preparing for if they want to come out to hunt Wyoming?
One, like I said, be ready to shoot about 60 yards. People like to carry the lightest bow possible. I don't suggest that. I suggest putting a little bit of weight on your bow. A heavier bow will hold better. It's just the same thing with shooting a heavy rifle, right? Like your PRS rifles and stuff like that, 13, 14-pound rifles, because they hold better, manage recoil better. A heavy bow holds better in the wind, and it shoots better in the wind. So when I'm setting people's bows up for them to come out west and hunt out west, I'm setting it up a little bit heavier than they normally like, just because it holds better. Two, I tell them to get in shape. Like I've hunted with some people back east before, and you're breaking them off after day one. I'm already skinny as it is. Like I'm sitting at 196 right now. I'm still on the skinny side for 6'4", but like I'll end September at 160s. I'll lose 30 pounds in the month of September. I'll walk 300-400 miles in September. So I cover a ton of ground, and I'm always moving, always trying to find elk. And so I always tell people, be in the best shape you physically possibly can. And it's not necessarily strength, but cardio. And having a good cardio. And two, you get from sea level elevation and jump up to 8,000 feet, it will wreck you. Like people don't understand until you get out here and get on a peak. Like altitude sickness is a real thing, and not being able to get that oxygen to your lungs is a real thing. So I always suggest to people, man, be ready to walk a lot, be ready, have your cardio game up. There's nothing you can do to acclimate yourself to 8,000 feet difference. But once you get up here, if you're in the better shape you are, the quicker you'll acclimate and the better success you'll have with your hunt. Because if you get burned out day 1, day 2 of a 5-day hunt, your success odds are going to drop dramatically. I've had people come out and hunt for 1 day and be like, I'm done. They'll spend $3,000 to get out here and all their gear and everything like that, and hunt for 1 day and be like, I just can't do it.
So screw that. For that, dude, you're hauling me up in a wheelchair. I don't give
no. And yeah, I've done that for people. Like I've literally taken, like I said, I'm in decent shape, right? Like I can walk a lot. I mean, I've hauled a whole elk out before, you know what I mean? Like I can put weight on my back, I can move. But like for people that are struggling, like I'll literally take their pack and be like, you're walking with nothing but your bow for the whole day. You know what I mean? Just to try to give them that experience, because it is a once in a lifetime experience for a lot of people. There's not a lot of people that can afford, that live back east to come out here and do this every single year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so like I try to give them the best opportunity I physically possibly can to get a shot off of the bull. And everybody that I go out with, I have more fun taking people now than I do, shooting elk myself. Like I love calling for people. I love watching people rattle their freaking arrow off their rest because they're shaking so bad that first time they have that encounter with a big bull. Like I've seen some stone cold killers like SF dudes come out, that are freaking schwack dudes for their whole military career. And they get an elk in front of them and they're like uncontrollable shaky. Like it's a different adrenaline rush, man. So, yeah, I just really enjoy it. And so that's what I always tell people. Just come prepared, as prepared as you can get.
Mike, it's a common theme now in every show, and I expect it now for future shows until we get someone to answer yes to this question. Have you ever ate possum, Towson?
Nope, I haven't. I've killed a lot of them. I've never eaten one. And I've eaten a lot of things in my life. I spent 2 years in Sierra Leone and Liberia in West Africa, and I've eaten cat, dog, lizard, snake, bat. Like I've eaten a lot of different things. I have zero desire to ever put a possum in my mouth. They are one of the nastiest looking critters on the planet, man. Yep. I don't know.
I thought he was.
Someone cooked one up for me. I try it. I have to try everything, right? Like I've eaten frog leg and squirrels and stuff like that, and gator when I've been down south. I would try it if I had the opportunity to, but I've never. No, not me personally.
I can't wait to meet the first person that says they've tried it before.
Now I've got to eat possum this year, so that next time I can tell
Michael won't come on the show anymore after
I'm
that.
like, I ate possum.
I'm gonna have to go shoot one in the woods out here just to try it now.
We actually had one in our yard last year, and I was like, eh.
Michael says we should all try it with our flavors of the forest.
Yeah.
All right. What was that, Dave?
I didn't say nothing stupid.
Oh, I was gonna say it sounded like you said something.
It sounded like you did.
Oh, I was going to, and then I was like, yeah.
Then you realized it was a live show, and you're like, yeah, I'm okay.
No, I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
Yeah, nothing like garlic possum.
Yeah, garlic possum.
It might be a huge hit. Who knows?
Yeah, who the hell knows?
We'll probably see a bunch at the campground. Who knows?
I'll ask Michael this: have you ever eaten porcupine?
See,
Uh-huh.
that I
Michael?
have tried.
Porcupine is good.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
They're a member of the pig family, so their meat is sweet. Actually, they're actually pretty dang good eating.
Wow.
Yeah, we ate them at when I was stationed at Fort Drum. We would hunt them there, and then up north in the UP, we'll hunt them up there.
I can't.
Okay,
I'm waiting for the comment to come through.
So Michael said no to eating porcupine, and I don't know if you know this, but I love Tippy Cow. It's my favorite, one of my favorite alcoholic drinks. He asked you, Towson, have you ever tried Tippy Cow?
I have not. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't.
It's a golf thing.
Oh, okay. That explains
it is.
It's like a 14% alcohol. It's like
4%.
Yeah.
It's
Michael,
like a Bailey's Irish Cream.
It's one step below Zima.
Yeah.
Never had
or Eagle Claw, or what's that? White Claws.
White Claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you this much though: cat is better than dog.
Cat.
If you ever have to eat cat or dog, choose cat.
It's funny you say that because I just had Chinese food tonight, and I gotta agree with you. It was pretty damn good.
Yep.
I had General Tso's kitten.
Depending on the joint you go to, they'll either serve you cat or dog, but you always know when it's cat. Cat's way better.
Cat's tender.
Dog's a little stringy.
Yeah.
Dawson, besides hunting, do you have any other hobbies or interests?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to play a lot of basketball. I had a couple college offers to go play basketball when I got home from Africa, actually. And then I used to ride dirt bikes a lot. Did it a lot. I started guiding fly fish. I was telling you guys earlier, I started guiding fly fishing trips when I was 12, and I did that for a big part of my life. And then when I had kids, it came down to essentially I had to choose one hobby. One, for the time away from the family, and two, financial constraints wise. I mean, it's one of those things where I just had to choose. And so it came down to archery was life for me, and I stuck with a bow, man. So that's about my only hobby I do now. But yes, I used to have a lot of hobbies: snowboarding, snowmobiling. I used to do it all.
What wild game animal is on your bucket list to hunt?
Well, like I said, 150-inch whitetail. That's my goal for this year. I've turned into a whitetail junkie the past couple of years. So, but if I had to choose one that wasn't a mule deer, I would probably go shoot caribou in Alaska with a bow. I'm probably doing that in 2026 with the Hunting Full boys. We're probably going to head up there and go shoot some caribou. I know those guys well. So, yeah.
What is a wild game animal you want to try eating in the whole world?
I've heard axis deer is phenomenal. So
I'm actually going on one of those this year.
Yeah, I've heard axis is phenomenal, and that's one I want to try. Or nilgai. They say those nilgai are one of the best tasting animals.
Yeah, I heard that too.
What has been your favorite state you've hunted and why?
That's a tough one. I mean, so the states I've hunted: Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Wyoming, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, and I've been in Mexico. And gosh, out of all of those, I would say probably the coolest thing I've ever hunted was the Wyoming wilderness. You want to talk about the feeling of being small and like just existing in a world that you don't belong in. The Wyoming wilderness it's unlike anything else in the entire world. Like, it is cool. I've been up to Alaska for military training events. I've never got to hunt Alaska yet, but Alaska is the closest thing I could essentially say to the Wyoming wilderness. Like, it's just wild. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Michael asks here, Towson, if me and my dad got to come out to Wyoming for an elk hunt, would you consider being a guide?
Well, I don't guide people because, one, I don't ever take payments for people. And two, I don't ever want it to feel like it's a client-based hunt. But I always tell people they're always welcome at elk camp. If they ever want to come out, they're always welcome to. So I've only had probably 3 or 4 people hit me up on it, and I've taken them out, and we've always killed stuff. Like, every person I've ever taken out has either gotten a shot or killed an elk. So yeah, you make it out to Wyoming way, Michael, we'll go have some fun. So just know that I'm carrying a bow too. And if we see a 350 bull, I'm sorry, you're going to have to watch me shoot it. You'll get your turn though.
You two could always kill a possum, You could kill a possum.
You got to bring me some cooked possum. I want some possum jerky.
What is the top state you want to hunt next?
Ohio or Iowa for whitetail. Go to the land of giants and go shoot a monster, probably, to be honest. So,
like, if you want to shoot a giant buck, you gotta come to Michigan. I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm sorry.
I've never heard of a person going to Michigan to shoot giant whitetail. I'm not gonna lie. So
I'm sorry.
Nobody said it sober.
Yeah, no, I've watched about every whitetail hunting there is on YouTube too, and I don't know if I've ever seen a big buck come out of Michigan. So,
well, what's that buck that came out of Traverse City?
Oh, damn it.
Dave, you and I were watching
Mitch Rumpala buck.
Yeah, Mitch Rumpala.
Big boy.
That was back in like the 90s.
Yeah. There's a huge controversy between
that dude's killed like 200-inch deer everywhere though.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Iowa and Ohio stuff and that Midwest, and it seems like that's where the big boys live. So
they're killing 170s, 180s here. Seems like every year. But it's over east side of the state, though.
Well, I had some 180s on my cameras this year, but then fucking EHD hit.
Yep. That's the other weird problem is the blue tongue and EHD with whitetails, man. That seems to just demolish herds constantly.
Hardcore.
I
had a lot of nice deer on my camera, and early season all of them disappeared and started finding them in the swamps.
That's crazy.
I mean,
I've had a buddy.
They're finding about 100 or so whitetails every weekend. They'll go out and find them.
100? That's insane,
dude. It was ridiculous.
I've had a buddy that I had to rappel off a cliff for to retrieve a mule deer for him, and he's from Oklahoma, and he's like, whenever you want to come Oklahoma, you can always come hunt my property. And I'm like, cool. And I've been waiting to cash in points because it seems like Oklahoma's gotten that for like the past 5 years. Their deer herd is just suffering because of it. So.
Here in Michigan, I'll say this. It hit hard back in like 2010, 2012-ish roughly. And we finally kind of recovered back from that about 2 years ago. And it hit harder last year than it did back in 2010, 2012. And it was like John said, I have a buddy that hunts like right down the road from me, basically in the same area as John.
Yeah.
And he found like 60 dead within like a square mile.
That's insane.
It was just terrible.
You get those droughts, man. Those dry summers just freaking breed that shit, and it kills them bucks right off. Kills all those deer off, man.
Because we didn't have those harsh fucking winters that you'd expect Michigan to get. We didn't get it.
We sure shit did this year.
Yeah, we fucking got this year. Thank God.
You got more snow.
I finally got to go ice fishing. I'm fucking sick of staring at my gear every year.
If you
Where
could
are you at? What state are you in?
Michigan.
Me?
Oh, yeah, you're in the land of giants. And I was going to say you need to come out west, but never mind. You got bigger lake trout than we do.
Yeah, we got some big lake trout.
My biggest through the ice is like 32 pounds. So we don't got nothing on you guys, though. You guys pull some monsters out.
Yeah, they got some monsters. Yep.
At least us here in Michigan, we're good for something.
we got good fishing and turkeys.
Yeah, I said, this year is my first year to go shoot a thunder chicken, so I'll have to let you guys know how it is.
You gotta do it with a bow, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna be my first year too.
There you go. Yep.
Just remember, like you said before, when you set up on your elk and you're calling from through the hunter that's in front of them, do the same thing with turkeys if they hang up on you.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who said, well, he's a really good friend and he's from Arkansas. And he's like, I could drop you in the woods in Arkansas for a week with all the best turkey gear in the world. And he's like, I guarantee you would not kill anything.
Yep.
Yeah. The late season's harder because they're all henned up and it's just like the elk.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't pull them off the hens. Decoys are really hard. You got to more or less just cut them off.
Up here in the Northeast, what we'll do is if they hang up, you'll get a bird that does what I call the merry-go-round. He'll go round and round and round with his hens. So what I'll do is
behind you too.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll jump up, I'll run away from my buddy. I'll go back like 60, 70 yards behind him, and I'll just start doing some low purrs and that locator cluck. That's that, like that on and off. And that freaking things, man, they'll come running up because they're used to that bird running away from them and they want to go chase it. Meanwhile, you got your buddy up there about 50, 60 yards. And, man, he puts him down. Where the hell did Brett go?
I don't know. He just took off.
No, I guess he said enough. Look, you're in good hands now. We can start doing this.
We don't have to worry about golfing anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And Tippy Cow.
Shooter McGay boy freaking finally left the show. So we'll just have our way with you.
You'll find turkey's addicting, especially with bow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be you're gonna be kind of screwed if you get one with your bow.
I got a 600-acre piece of private to go hunt. I was knocking doors because this was like my first hunting season on this side of the state, and it's all private over here. And I was knocking doors trying to find somewhere to shoot a whitetail.
Nice.
And I ran into this chick, and she's like, "Well, I only let two off a year." And so we're like, my buddy, he knew her dad from the Guard, and he was just like, we might be able to. She's like, "You guys want to come back and kill turkeys?" And he's like, "Absolutely." You know what I mean? So so hopefully we're actually going to go probably see her next week and try to lock that in, make sure we got it. But she said she's got so many turkeys you could shoot them off her porch. So
even better.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait, I like those odds.
Yeah,
man, that would be fun.
They are skittish though, man. Damn, they got those eagle eyes, dude. Any little movement. That's why I like it with a bow, because I mean, with a shotgun, you can drill them at 60 yards in a pop-up blind. And I mean, they'll get 10 yards in front of you if you're in a pop-up.
Well, that's why I decided to take the damn recurve out this year. I just really want like a really freaking cool challenge. And don't get me wrong, we're allowed 2 toms here in the spring. So, I'll roll one over with the shotgun and I'm going to get one with the recurve, man.
That's
that's crazy. We're only allowed 1 tom.
Yeah. Springtime here, it's 2 toms, separate days. You can't shoot 2 in the same day. And then we have a fall season too. So it's, it's either or in the fall, but we can only hunt till 12 o'clock and then we got to get out of the woods. So
no, one of my really good friends and hunting buddies, he's all traditional, all recurve too, man. So it's pretty fun to watch him do work with a recurve, and he's phenomenal shot. But it's recurves or something else. That's the funnest type of bow to shoot, in my personal opinion.
That's how we grew up hunting.
That's what we had. I mean, when we like I said, when we grew up, there was like basic wheel compound bows, like the Whitetail Hunter 2 was out back then.
Allen Speedster.
I've worked on those before.
Those death traps.
Four pulley systems on a bow.
My uncle still has one on the wall.
A, B, C, D, and E and F for your settings, and they rattle like crazy and stuff. But that's what we had to start out with, and then thank God technology's come a long way because
technology's incredible. Like I said, you can go to get any bow now and any any mainline bow and go pick one, and it's gonna be freaking amazing. It'll do everything.
There's no junk bows anymore.
No, they're all phenomenal.
I just noticed our great and distinguished host is back.
Yeah.
Hello,
absolutely.
Oh, didn't even notice.
We were worried the FBI found you already.
Yeah, right.
I got no comments.
You forgot to grab the phones. Yeah.
He just went dark, and we're like, well, there he goes.
He just got a notice in the mail from McDonald's. You're no longer allowed near the ball pit at our store. Please don't come near it.
You're no longer allowed back in the children's play place.
Last couple questions for you, and we can let you go.
All right.
If you could pick anybody to go on a hunting trip with or share a campfire with, one time, who would that person be?
Man, that's a tough one. Like I said, I've hunted with a lot of really, really cool people, and I've been super fortunate. So that's a tough one. One of the only people I really haven't hunted with that I'd love to go out on a hunt with Levi Morgan. Like I said, I'm a fangirl of Levi. He's one of the best shots there is, and I think he's pretty awesome. So I don't know. I'd probably go out with Levi. He's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys don't know Jeff Barron, though. Jeff is he's so much dang fun. So I helped him kill his first archery elk out in Idaho. And that dude right there is one of the funnest people to hang around. So there's never a dull moment when you're around him. So he's super fun. I could go hunt with him freaking every year and be perfectly content with life. So
if you could bring one loved one that passed away to go on a hunt with or share a campfire with one time, who would that be?
Gosh. That's a tough one. I've been super fortunate. Like I said, my mom and dad were 19 and 16 when they got married. So I've hunted with all my grandpa and everything like that. And he's still alive. He's only 75, 76 right now. So, I would probably have to say my grandpa Ace. He's my great grandpa. More just the stories, you know what I mean? Like, so he was drafted and went overseas in World War II. And he was one of the guys that was first on sea for the concentration camps. And he actually has videos and pictures of bulldozing bodies in the pits and stuff like that. So like, it'd be crazy to hear some of the stuff that he had to go through and some of the stuff that he saw. So probably my grandpa Ace.
I was getting ready to ask, Michael was going to ask you if you've done any waterfowl or upland hunting out there, but then Leanne answered that and said no waterfowl hunting. He has, but not majority.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of waterfowl and a little upland. I shot pheasants with a recurve. That's super fun. If you've never done that, get some flues in a recurve. That's a good time. So
rabbit hunting's fun with a recurve.
Oh, I've shot till I couldn't pick my arm up the next day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like with a recurve.
Oh my gosh, that's the funnest type of hunt you can do. But no, a little bit of upland. I've shot geese before and shot ducks. It's just never really been my thing. Like I said, I can have one hobby and it's archery. So yeah, I can't dive down that duck trail.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. If I want to stay married, I got to kind of keep my hobby.
Yeah, archery for me, that's it.
How do you think we can get more people involved in hunting?
I think it's just starting them young, really. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think we need to romanticize it either as much as we have lately. I feel like we've romanticized hunting to the point of where people need to feel bad about shooting an animal. I don't necessarily think that. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you're taking a life and yes, you're killing something, but at the end of the day, like, you've got to realize that those animals are put there and they're here for us to take and they're here for us to eat. And so when people understand that and they don't shy away essentially from shooting an animal, that's what keeps a lot of people away that I've been with. Like, they'll shoot an animal and be like, I feel so terrible. You're not shooting a person. You're not shooting a human. You're shooting a creature that was put on this earth for us to essentially hunt and eat. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they're here. And that's why we're here. You know what I mean? Like, we're here to manage the game and the stuff of the fields. And so, like, yeah, I think we don't romanticize it as much and realize at the end of the day that you're going to be killing something, and you've got to accept that fact.
Yeah.
You know, I always say if God didn't want me to kill it, he sure as hell wouldn't have put it in front of me.
I mean, and it's true. You know what I mean? Like, it is true. Like, if you're a religious person at all in any aspect, you can read the Bible and you could, I mean, it talks about it over and over and over again, and characters and everybody inside the Bible, they hunted the game and they hunted the fish and they hunted, everything. And that's why it was here. So I don't think people need to feel as bad about hunting. And then also too, creating opportunities. You know what I mean? I think back east is the greatest place for kids essentially to get involved in hunting, because you can start them at a younger age. You can shoot more than one deer a year. You can shoot turkeys. And so for back here, back west, you can only hunt when you're 12. You can only shoot one elk a year, one deer a year. So it's a little tougher to get some of them involved, because by the time they get to 12, they have other hobbies and other things they want to do. That and getting kids outside. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
my goodness.
Off the phones, video games.
My little brother, I mean,
Mhm.
my little brother's probably shot 2 animals in his entire life. You know what I mean? Like, he just wanted to be inside. He wanted to be playing games. He didn't want to be outside in the woods. So, like, completely opposite character of who I am or what I am. But yeah, like my little girl, Remy, she just turned 7 last week. She started antelope hunting with me when she was 5. You know what I mean? I was dragging her around and we were dodging rattlesnakes when she was 5 years old, chasing speed goats.
Nice.
So she's been out doing it, and I take them fishing whenever I can. We'll go out and go fishing. They love it. They have a riot fishing and stuff. So yeah, it's just getting them started, I think.
Yep.
And educating, you know what I mean? We have people like Joe Rogan, and we all make fun of Cameron Haynes out here because, you know, it's Cam Haynes. Like, you got to respect the dude. He's an absolute unit and he's incredible.
Yeah.
But like people like that are talking to some of these celebrities and getting them involved in the industry, and like they're actually getting out and hunting and stuff like that. Like, that's huge. So
Michael's got 2 questions for you. Do you use cell cams?
No, I don't use any cameras. I've never ran a game camera before. I just have spots. I know there's elk, and I go in there and I go hunt them every year. So
nice.
Yep. And then deer. So mule deer, it's hard to run cameras. Again, you don't want to get anywhere near them. Like, summertime scouting season, nothing. You don't want to bump them. You don't want to get them off the hill. And so a lot of that is your optics. I always tell people your best tool you can have for hunting is optics. And I will sit back on a ridge a mile away and glass and watch deer and pattern them and know what bucks are on the hill. It takes a little bit more time, but it also is fun to be able to get up there and get on the mountain from time to time.
Yeah. So no long traffic lasso you're running.
I'm spoiled. I've done a lot of extra work. I do flooring and stuff like that on the side and on weekends and stuff like that. I grew up building houses with my grandpa, so I'm lucky to have a construction background, but I've done a lot of flooring jobs to be able to afford my Swaros. So I have a set of NL Pure 12x42, and then I got a 95 millimeter spotter. So
okay,
yeah.
Right. Oh.
And I had to work my balls off to get them, but it was worth it. So yeah.
Hey, can you watch your language? I don't like that type of
Sorry
on the show.
Sorry, Michael.
No, you said balls and he got excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said the B word. Now
he's traumatized from the FBI taking him off the show earlier.
That's right.
Yeah, kicked his door in.
Yeah.
Michael asks, "Are you in a state, Towson, where you don't have to deal with the identity as cats and dogs and crap and furries?"
Well, I'll tell you this much: Wyoming is about as America could get. So it's one of the last true American states. So no, we don't have to deal with a lot of that out here. Most of those people won't make it out here. They won't survive the winter.
Nice.
Cats and dogs.
Last show of the night. Last question of the night.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What do you think we as fellow hunters could or should do to improve the hunting community as a whole?
I think, gosh, that's a tough question. That's a good one. I don't know. I think one, like I said, letting people know that it's okay to hunt and that it's still a normal thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not abnormal to hunt. And I would like to get away from that. I would like to get away from the fact that hunting is inhumane or that hunting is, you know, it's terrible and it's just, you know, destroying and torturing creatures. Like, hunting is probably the most ethical and like the best way for an animal's life to be taken, really, you know, or to be killed. Like, if you've ever been to a slaughterhouse or if you've ever worked on a farm before, like, I've watched a lot of crazy ways that animals get tortured and die. You know what I mean? So, I think letting people know that it's not torturing an animal. We're taking care of it. We practice all year and we take pride in our equipment and our ability to shoot and stuff like that. So that way we can take animals, you know what I mean? Like, and two, like, oh man, I don't know. I think letting people know too, that being outside and spending time in the woods it's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to be outside. It's okay to go stay in the woods and not shower for 3 or 4 days and hang out. You know what I mean? Like, and also too is it's finding a group of people that get you and that you can be with. Like we talked about at the beginning of the show, like if I can't have fun or make fun of my friends at hunting camp or in the woods and stuff like that, like I'm generally probably not going to hunt with those individuals anymore. You know what I mean? Like when we go out, we have a riot. I've got a couple buddies, and I mean, my one buddy Butler, you guys would get a hoot out of it. Like when he worked for me, like my job was to tell him when to shut his mouth. You know what I mean? Like there'd be a general, a 1-star in front of him, and I'd have to look at him and be like, "Hey," and he'd be like, "Okay." You know what I mean? He's like that type of person. You know what I mean? But we get each other, and we've hunted with each other for a while now, and we make fun of each other and laugh and joke the whole time, and yeah, I mean it's just part of life. It's what it is, and I'm military. You experience it like military. You have to make fun of each other to go through some of the sucky times. You know what I mean? Like you go through.
You get through.
Go through some serious shit, and the only way to get through it is to laugh about it at the end of the day. So like my hunting group it consists of Butler. You know, he's infantry guy and been infantry pretty much his whole military career. My other buddy Jones, like he's a ranger dude, went to ranger school and everything like that. And then my buddy Kenneth from Kafaru, he's one of my other, like guys I hunt consistently with. But it's just, you got to find those type of people to be able to spend time with in the woods. And like I said, if you can't have fun with them and they take it too seriously, it's going to be the longest trip of your life. So finding a good group of people to be with that get you and can, have a good time with you. That's a huge thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. Squatch, how can people find you?
Well, as always, you guys can find me here on the Whitetail Advantage on Sundays and Tuesdays is 8:30. You can also check me out on the Garden State Outdoorsman podcast, Mike Nitre, Frankie Mastika. We're a great bunch of guys out there. You can always catch me on my YouTube channel, killing shit and having fun and fishing and going after predators and whatever else I do. Outdoors and More with the Squatch, and the same handle on Instagram.
Dave?
I'm on all the networks. There you go. No, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and on the Whitetail Advantage and PSE Mobile Hunter. You can find me there. Dave. And the Garage Guy 616.
Nice. 614.
Yeah, that one too. I'm changing it. I told him I'm changing it to 616 because that's where I live.
Johnny, how about
Ohio.
All right. You can find me on Instagram under Johnny_Nitro_night, Nitro Outdoors. Or after tonight's show, probably some shit watch list Brett put us
on. If I don't hear from you, Johnny, just send me some codes and I'll come get you out.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's great.
But yeah, I was actually looking at over-the-counter elk. So what region are you in, Towson?
Oh gosh, I was in Region G. That's where I'm originally from, the southwest side of the state.
Okay.
And then now I live in Laramie. So I'm clear down in the bottom right-hand quarter of the state.
Because I would definitely love to come out there. I'm retired Army. I love to fuck around with people all the time. I would love to come out there and hunt sometime.
No,
dude.
like I said, any of you guys draw a Wyoming tag, you look me up and we'll go play. Like I said,
dude, absolutely.
I love watching people shoot freaking elk down more than I'd care to shoot one myself. So I have so much fun calling.
Unless that 480 incher comes.
Yeah, unless that comes, then sorry, you got to get.
There's gonna be a race.
You're gonna be sitting there set up on a calling sequence, and you're just gonna hear over top of your head.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Towson, how can people find you and follow on your journey, man?
I'm on Instagram, mostly on Instagram. I do some Facebook too. And then this year we're actually going to fire up YouTube. We've always talked about filming and we have never filmed. And this year we're going to get serious about it. So I have 15 tags just myself this year. And then my buddy's got some. So we're going to put the hurt and put the dent on some filming. So we'll have a couple good films coming out. I've got some of the Kafaru guys rolling with me that are going to film, and some good buddies like from Way Up West Outdoors. We did a little bit of camera stuff last year, but he's going to film some hunts this year too. So we should have some good, like high quality films coming out. So not sure what that YouTube channel is going to be at, but I'm sure if you type in my name, it'll eventually pull up. So
right on, man.
I do want to say this before we close out the night. Daniel commented, "This has been the best and most informative show yet. Towson rocks."
No, appreciate you, Daniel.
That's from Daniel.
And if anybody has any questions, they can always reach out to me. I'm always willing to answer stuff. So
Nice.
Well, thanks, guys. That's going to be the close of the night. Well, everyone, that's going to conclude an episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. From myself and everyone from the team, we want to say thank you to everyone that's tuned in for tonight's show and listening to the audio version. We can't say thank you enough. We also want to say thank you to everyone that's commented here during the show. We have a blast with it, and just thank you to everyone that's commented during the show. Now, if this show made you laugh, made you think, gave you a new perspective, please hit that like and subscribe button. Myself and everyone from the team would greatly appreciate it. If you have a Carbon TV account, or if you don't, everyone here from Whitetail Advantage would greatly appreciate it. If you can go to Carbon TV and give us a positive score, that'd be greatly appreciative. The audio versions of our podcast gets released on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. During the hunting season here in the state of Michigan, it's October through December, partially kind of through January. We only do a live show during the hunting season on Sundays, so those episodes only get released on Mondays at 5 a.m. But January through September, you can expect our episodes to get released on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to be a guest on our next live show, or you want myself, anyone from the team, or everyone from Whitetail Advantage to be a guest on your next show, head to our website and submit a request at www.whitetailadvantage.com. I do want to take a second and say thank you to all the companies that's partnered up with us here at Whitetail Advantage. We can't say thank you enough. And again, thank you to everyone in the military. Thank you to everyone in public service, the firefighters, police officers, everybody. I can't say thank you enough. And everyone from the team, we can't say thank you enough. Thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for your service. Last but not least, put that cord in that slot machine. We'll see everyone next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.